So today we're out here in the beautiful Oregon sunshine. We love the rain. We do this rain or shine. Here with Peter and his 91 Celica GT4 RC. This is a true JDM legend right here. A lot of people don't even know what this car is, but it was basically Toyota's way of sneaking a crazy built car into WRC. So Peter, why don't you tell me how you came across this thing?
Well, it was a little over a year ago, about a year and a half almost. I'd had a right-hand drive car before. It was a Honda Civic, and I had sold it back when I lived in Texas. And since then, I had always wanted another one.
Yeah.
I'd have friends that have them and stuff, and so I was always looking around. You know, people were starting to import Skylines and 240s
Yeah.
and 180s and all sorts of this, you know, all sorts of those cars, and I really wanted to bring in something different.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of went back to my roots. You know, I'm thinking of old school cars. You know, I was looking at Lancias and
Yeah.
Audis and stuff like that. You know, some true rally cars. Rally's always inspired me, and I found the Celica through a friend of mine that owns a shop in Dallas, and he had mentioned it to me, and you know, I'd thought about it, and I was like, that'd be such a cool car to get, but at the same time, I was like, man, maybe I should get a Skyline or something. So I was gonna go look at a couple Skylines, and they just weren't what I thought they were gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, so I just decided to buy it sight unseen in Japan.
Wow.
I'd never seen it in person, never even heard it, and I bought it as it was on the way from Japan to the United States.
And I don't think you could have chosen a cleaner car, because I've seen Celica GTs that don't even look this good.
Yeah,
I mean, the paint's pristine, the interior's amazing.
it was very well cared for in Japan. It was driven.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, a 30,000 kilometer car. It's got 180,000 on it, but it
Yeah.
was driven and loved and well maintained in Japan. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad that I'm able to maintain the glory that the car was,
Yeah.
you know, in Japan over here.
From enthusiast to enthusiast.
Exactly, from
Yeah.
an enthusiast to an enthusiast.
So what makes this car an RC? Obviously the aero is crazy looking on this thing, very rally inspired, but underneath all that, what also makes it an RC?
So what really makes it an RC, you know, to separate it from the All-Tracs and the GT4s, Toyota did a couple different things. They did some ventilation on the motor that, you know, works with the air ducts on the outside of the car. They also retuned the ECU a little bit. They built the transmission. It is a triple synchro mesh second and third gear. So, you know, it's a little more stout than your standard.
Yeah. Nice gear train
transmission.
wine.
Yes, it's got great gear train wine. And they beefed up the front suspension a little bit. The front sway bar. This is the only car in the Celica world that I've ever seen that was a 28 millimeter front sway bar from the factory. So it's pretty large, you know. But you know, they did quite some difference. This is what they call a homologation special, where it was only offered in a certain part and only built in a certain part of the United States, not offered worldwide. They only made 5,000 of these in Japan, and only 1,800 of these were sold in Japan. So the rest were shipped off to, you know, the UK and Ireland, places like that.
That's crazy.
But only 1,800 were sold in Japan, and this is 1172 out of 5,000.
Yeah.
That was built. So.
And for those of you that don't even know what a GT4 is, it was Toyota's way of getting in the WRC with a competing car, because they didn't really have anything that was turbocharged and all-wheel drive. So they basically just produced just enough of these cars, and this is an all-track version, so it's all-wheel drive. It's a 3S GTE turbo, and they basically just produced enough of these cars to get them into the production series of WRC. But it's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
Should we go for a ride?
Yeah, let's
Cool.
do it.
I am once again riding in a car on the wrong side. Look at that, kilometers per hour. So cool.
100?
Yeah. Oh man, I love, you know what? I almost wouldn't put an exhaust on this because I love hearing the gear train whine. You can hear the drivetrain when you're running through the gears. It's so cool.
Might drown it out a little bit.
thought it'd be cool to own one of these. So you've got a little bit of suspension work done to it then, huh?
A little bit, yeah. Some BC coilovers, some BC BRs.
Yeah.
And then I did some GT4 play polyurethane bushings.
Okay. Yeah, you can feel it. It's definitely really responsive. So is this your daily driver?
No.
No, this is your fun car?
This is my fun car. This
nice.
is my weekend warrior.
There you go. You ever take it out to like track events or anything like that?
I've taken it to park a couple times. Of course, I haven't hit the track with that park.
Yeah.
I've taken it to park. I haven't felt like the car's solid enough to actually take it to a track day yet.
Gotcha. Do you have future plans or anything else you're going to do to it?
I do, yeah. January, I'm going to pull the motor.
Oh, okay.
I got a couple parts that are going to be ordered for it, but it needs a new reseal.
Okay.
So, little minor restoration.
Yep. Yeah, big problem with the older Toyota motors, especially the turbocharged cars. They cannot seem to hold oil in themselves. It's insane.
No, get the oil pan leaks, rear main seal leaks.
Yeah.
Typical Toyota.
Yeah, and so I had a Mark III Supra, and that was the big thing with it. So you start cranking up the horsepower, and you get all this crankcase pressure and oil atomization and stuff, and you can't seem to get the pressure out fast enough, and it starts leaking oil out and seals like crazy.
But as long as you keep oil in it, it keeps going.
Exactly. Oh, the gear train whine. That is so cool. That is so rally too.
For being pretty much factory, actually it is completely factory powertrain wise.
Yeah.
It's got some good sounds.
It does.
Incorporated with it. You hear the poly bushings?
Yeah, creaking.
Squeaking.
Yep. Woo, this thing goes, man. And it's super stable in the corners too.
I've taken time to set it up, you know, appropriately.
Yeah. Did you scale in your coils when you're setting it up?
No, I don't have I didn't know anybody to actually scale it in, so.
Gotcha.
I kind of just did some research online on proper setups.
Yep.
And kind of followed those, but changed the dampening a little bit.
Yeah.
To where it's not such a super harsh.
Are these stock brakes too?
These are stock brakes, yes.
Wow. Does it come with like a 2-pot?
It actually comes with a single pot.
Really?
Yeah, it's terrible. the ST185, the generation before this, they were 2-pot.
Okay.
And then this generation, they went to a large single piston. And then on the 205, they went to a twin. They went back to a twin.
I see.
So I don't know the change and why they decided to go from twin to single.
Yeah.
Now the piston itself, you know, is a 2-inch, 2 to 2.5-inch piston, so it's decently sized.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know the reason for the change from the dual to the single and then back to a dual. So, but it doesn't have any issues braking.
Yeah.
It seems to be able to hold its own.
Yeah, I can't imagine this is a super heavy car either.
It's not real heavy. It's about 3,100.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you think about it, it's got a lot going on with the drivetrain and the motor and stuff. What a cool car.
It's not the lightest one out there.
But for rarity, this takes it, man. It's such a cool car.
Thank you. It's been a treat owning it and being able to work on it. It's a dream of mine to have one of these ever since Gran Turismo came out. Gran Turismo 1 and 2, I remember owning one of these back then.
Inspired by the video game.
Inspired by the video game.
Well, thanks for the ride, man.
Absolutely.